Hi guys, this is Klazart with Cholera alongside, and we are commentating on the Shinhan Bank Winners League matchup between Samsung Khan and CJ Entis, and this is set 4. This is going to be Stork versus Kwanro. So far, Samsung Khan 2-1 in the lead. CJ having lost two of their really strong players in Xavier and Iris going down very early on in the matchup, and so they're going to be forced to use some of well, I guess it wouldn't be fair to call it their B team, but that's the only thing I can think of right now. But yeah, this is a huge matchup, Stork versus Kwanro, and I'm gonna let Cholera tell you all about it.
Well, actually, the day before this game was played on February 21st, the day before was February 21st, Kwanro actually lost to Stork 2-1 in the MSL round of 16. In fact, Kwanro walked into that game with a 1-0 lead, but in the second and third games, Stork took it away from him. And here, one day later, on this 22nd, we're seeing a rematch between these two players. So this is a good chance for Kwanro, perhaps, to get some revenge against the Dino Toss here. The Dino Toss looking quite confident, though, after dispatching Iris, and we'll see if Kwanro, who's a very aggressive and I think quite talented Zerg player, manages to get some comeuppance here, some justification. Oftentimes we do see this kind of match being scheduled inadvertently or on purpose right after two players have fought each other. We often do see, a couple of days later, Bisu versus Stork again, or Best versus July, or something like that. We've seen that happen time and again, actually. But we'll see what happens. And I would honestly not call either Kwanro or Effort, who could be possibly making an appearance later on, the B team by any means. I would say both of those Zerg players are in the same league as Iris, I would say. Maybe not Xavier historically, but they've been performing quite well this season also.
Yeah, I've seen Effort's name up a lot in the Pro League, but again, yeah, I guess I suppose B team is probably the wrong term. Probably more, I guess, the newcomers, the more recent representatives
Unproven
of the team.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I mean, personally, I don't think this is going to be such a huge grudge match for Stork. I think this game is going to mean a lot more to Kwanro than it will to Stork. I mean, if Kwanro wins, so what? That doesn't really hurt Stork too much. Obviously, he doesn't want to.
Right.
He doesn't, because at the end of the day, he's progressed in the Star League and he's knocked Kwanro out, and he's going to be able to hold that over Kwanro's head forevermore unless Kwanro manages to do kind of like how Bisu was able to say to Stork time and time again. I don't care how many times you beat me outside, but you've lost. You've lost in the finals of the Star Leagues to me twice in a row. So finally, Stork was able to actually get that off his back, and now it's going to be Kwanro who's going to have a little bit of a grudge against Stork, and it'll be interesting to see if this does develop into a rivalry. As you did say, I think Stork has got more than enough rivalries to keep him going for a while. Anyway, this is going to be on Taucross, one of my favorite old school maps. And yeah, I am excited. I think it'll be a good StarCraft game, but I think it means probably a lot more to Kwanro than it does to Stork.
Yeah, certainly. And this is definitely a fun map. For those of you who aren't that familiar with Tau Cross, you have your main base and your natural expansion separated by a very narrow choke. Your natural expansion isn't on the ramp. There's no ramps on this entire map. There's 3 starting locations at the upper right, 6 o'clock location, and upper left. And here we're seeing Stork starting off with a standard Forge Fast Expand. It also has a nice area behind your natural expansion for some Mutalisk Harass, although that might not happen in a ZVP game. But it's a map that I think favors Protoss a little bit. Maybe not that much. Actually, looking at the statistics, it actually favors Zerg a little bit. But, it's a pretty even map. It's a little hard for the Zerg to secure their third gas, though, because it is very exposed on the outside, and there's really no good choke leading to it. So, especially at the location that Kwanro started in, that third gas is going to be a little bit hard for him to hold if he tries to go for the second natural. Maybe he'll go for one of the main bases. We'll have to see, though. The other main base is a possibility for his expansion, but that's too early to say. Looks like here we're seeing Kwanro with a 9 pool, I believe, and Stork's going to have to be building some cannons really soon.
Yeah, you're right. It does look like that, and Stork obviously has scouted it. Stork scouted in the correct direction, fortunately
Oh!
for him, and he's managed to steal some minerals from Kwanro just to irritate him a little bit. And now Kwanro's got the spawning pool up, he's got the Zerglings out, and it'll be interesting to see if he can put some pressure on Stork early on. It looks like Kwanro's overlord actually scouted in the wrong direction initially. Stork has got the fortune, and again, because he's managed to get that scout off in the right direction, he's able to put that cannon down before he starts up his Nexus. Kwanro now trying to, looks like, take his natural. And Stork harassing as much as he could have. He had potential to do a little bit more harass, but I guess he anticipated those Zerglings coming out. And Kwanro, obviously realizing that Stork has seen this coming and is going to have his photon cannon up, decides not to waste too much time with his Zerglings. Actually, that's weird. I think Kwanro should have taken the time to take that probe out before pushing out, because as it is, Stork is he's got to know that Stork is going to put the two cannons down. Maybe he just wanted to make sure by sending those Zerglings out. And interesting enough, Stork is hiding a probe here. Stork is sending a probe down the right-hand side of the map. He's going to try and put a proxy pylon down, I believe, and Stork is going to hide a probe, and Kwanro is not going to see this because those Zerglings went a couple of seconds out later than they otherwise would have.
That's a very good point, actually. And the thing is, sometimes Protoss players are going on the cheap recently by going something like Cannon, Nexus, Cannon. Even though they see a 9 pool, they'll go something like that instead of going Cannon, Cannon, Nexus. But, you know, in this case, Stork wasn't going on the cheap, so Kwanro's not going to be able to do any damage. Either way, he wouldn't have been able to. But yeah, you're right. Stork's putting it on a pylon there at the bottom right. Not sure exactly what it's going to be used for, though. Maybe some hidden tech, maybe some proxy gateways. We're going to have to see, though. It could be very interesting, though, certainly. And Kwanro, meanwhile, is double expanded, so he's going to leave himself rather vulnerable. Like I said, that second gas he has there at the 3 o'clock location, which Stork is just about to possibly scout. I don't know. I think he probably did scout it. That's kind of vulnerable, and you know, if Stork decides to go put some proxy gates or something like that, it could be devastating to Kwanro in the mid game.
Actually, yeah, no, I realized it wasn't a proxy probe in order to pylon or anything like that. The only purpose of that probe was because he knew since he was fast expanding, he would be landlocked into his base for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
By
There's no
Kwanro,
pylon
and he didn't
there.
want to. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. He just wanted to be able to get a scout off. So now he's seen that double expansion, and he knows exactly what Kwanro is doing, and he's going to be able to adapt accordingly. Quite a clever little play by Stork, and good anticipation, obviously, realizing that Kwanro would have run the map for a short while with those Zerglings, and that he wouldn't be able to get the probes off. So he's nullified that the advantage Kwanro would have had with that 9 pool, and really that should put him at least a little bit in the lead. And Kwanro obviously has tried to counter that with the double expansion, but now Stork is aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty standard openings here from both players. Kwanro not electing to get the gas early, instead double expanding. He's not going to be going for any kind of cheesy speedling run by or anything like that. Stork is too good to for him to really do that and get away with it. Stork, meanwhile, starting out very standard, going Stargate first. He's not going to be going for any kind of fast Templar or fast leg or something like that. So both players just posturing a little bit. We'll probably see Kwanro go for that standard 5-hatch build we've been seeing recently from the Zergs very often. He's going to need to, I think, because of that, the vulnerability of that third base of his on the 3 o'clock location. So vulnerable that he's going to need the production of the 5 hatches. He's going to need mass Hydras and possibly some Scourge. He's not going to be going for anything more aggressive, I feel, at least, like a Muta Rush or anything like that. And it doesn't seem like he is. He's putting down the Spire, but as we see there's no second gas, which for all of you Protoss players out there who see that, you should know that means the Zerg is almost entirely unlikely to go for Mutalisks, despite Spire being there, because they're not going to have the gas to build Mutalisks. Instead, they're going to be going for just a couple of Scourge, and then they're going to be transitioning into, at least initially, a Hydralisk build.
Yeah, and it's taken Stork forever to kill that ninja probe. Kwanro. It took him forever. Despite having something like 8 Zerglings, it took him such a long time to corner that probe and kill it. I have to say that was quite poor micro by Kwanro. I wasn't impressed at all by his play there. But now Stork's got his first Seer out, and he's got a few Zealots out as well to be able to push out. Kwanro trying to trap one of the Zealots out of position, but Stork manages to pull it back in time. And now you do indeed see that 4th hatchery going down at that 3 o'clock pace, and it looks like Stork is about ready to macro up as well. It looks like he's researching something in his cybernetics core. I'm not sure if he would be researching Dragoon range upgrade. It looks like he might actually be researching air upgrades, and I'm not sure why Stork feels the need to do that. He's now got another Seer out, and he's taking another Overlord down. I guess he's seen the Spire, and he hasn't seen a Hydralisk Den for Kwanro, so he feels that he needs to get the upgrades on his Corsairs because Kwanro might try and take air superiority on this map.
Well, we could be seeing that, or we could just be seeing a very dedicated Corsair Reaver build, and I think we are going to see Corsair Reaver. However, it is mystifying to me that he built so many gateways. Most likely, he's not going to go hardcore Corsair Reaver. He's just going to go softcore Corsair Reaver, or rather, just getting one Reaver most likely, trying to do some harassment. And oh, getting clipped there by his by some Scourge. He needs to be careful not to lose these Corsairs, but he's very good at doing that. Actually, Stork is very bad at keeping his Corsairs alive. Unlike Bisu or some other top Protosses, he has problems with this. And it looks like Kwanro is going to be prepared here. He's going to get some sandwich action off on this last remaining Corsair. I feel Stork just not going to keep it alive, and that +1 air, if that is what he's doing, is going to be completely wasted if he doesn't have, you know, some Corsairs. You know, I can understand going Corsair, getting the attack upgrade for the Corsairs. It's mainly so you can kill off the Scourge quickly, and that will allow your Reaver and your shuttle to get where it needs to go. But it's not going to work out if he's as cavalier as he is with these Corsairs. I guess right now he's just trying to keep the scouting alive. But it looks like he's still researching whatever he's researching. I don't know if it'll be Dragoon range. I guess it is Dragoon range, actually. He's going to be going for a Dragoon Reaver timing attack. That's what it is. He's going for Dragoon Reaver, but it looks like Kwanro has spotted it. This is a very difficult timing attack to pull off, even for pros, because you have a very narrow window where Dragoon Reaver is viable, but he is going to be going for it. And if Kwanro doesn't amass a good number of Hydralisks soon, he will lose to this, this very difficult build.
Yeah, I guess the fact that Stork was willing to sacrifice those Sairs, but now Kwanro coming in, he sniped the
Oh my God!
He got taken out! And
Oh!
Kwanro just snipes the shuttle and the Reaver straight away. He just went in with the Hydralisk, and
Wow.
he just caught Stork coming in, and Stork obviously didn't see it. And Stork, again, because he didn't have, maybe because he didn't have the Corsairs ferrying around, otherwise maybe he would have spotted the Hydralisk. So now he's just fighting with a handful of Dragoons
Now
and
he's
Zealots
screwed.
against Zerglings and Hydralisk. Yeah, and now basically he committed so many resources. I mean, that for a Protoss, even in normal Corsair Reaver play, when you Sair Reaver play, when you lose your first shuttle and Reaver, it's pretty much difficult. It's hugely difficult to come back from it. And now he's losing
Right.
all of his ground force as well. Kwanro, with just Zerglings and Hydralisk, able to pick off Stork's forces, and Stork being pushed further and further back. He's trying to micro those Dragoons. He's managed to keep about 4 or 5 Dragoons alive, but it's not going to matter to Kwanro, who's now taking a decisive lead in this game. And it's going to be impossible for Stork to really come back from this. And it just, I don't know if, I mean, obviously Kwanro had the Scourges floating around, he had the Overlord, and he saw Stork's forces moving out of moving into the attack, and maybe he thought he could intercept them, and he did. But that was great. It was just a single moment of genius that's gonna win the game for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything I was saying there was true about Dragoon Reaver requiring a very, very narrow timing window, and you have to be successful in that timing window. But, I mean, if you lose your Reaver in that timing window, it's all over. I mean, even without losing your Reaver prematurely, it's already very difficult to succeed. So if this happens, it's over. Stork already has another Reaver and Shuttle out, but I would give his chance of winning this game against a decent Zerg player at maybe 5% right now, just because, you know, this Dragoon Force is very, very vulnerable to Hydralisks if he doesn't keep that Reaver alive, and he only has one Reaver, which could get sniped off fairly easily by that many Hydralisks. And right now, all Kwanro needs to do is just keep producing Hydras. He doesn't need to build anything else. Just Hydras is fine against Dragoon Reaver if you have so many Hydras and the Protoss only has one Reaver. It's only a problem when the Protoss gets 3 or 4 Reavers. And here we go. Here's Kwanro just walking in here. Looks like he's going to be able to just micro himself against these Reavers. Looks like the Reaver's still alive though. Stork trying to do as much damage as he can, but just those Dragoons just absolutely melt. And Stork forced to retreat, barely keeping that shuttle alive. Is he going to be able to do it? He's going to keep the shuttle alive, just barely keeping the shuttle alive. Wow. But the thing is, he has no anti-air right now, so a couple of Scourge could follow up and finish off that shuttle, and he has nothing on the ground. These Dragoons are completely useless against this Zergling Hydra force, just not cost-effective at all. Kwanro is going to be able to pick up a 4th pretty soon, and Stork is just in tatters right now. It's pretty much over for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ironic to see, or well, not really ironic, but kind of strange. And now Kwanro is coming in, trying to snipe that shuttle again from the side with a couple of Heartless. Stork trying to do a good job of keeping one Reaver forward, another to defend it from behind, but he just has too few units, and he's just going to get overrun any second now. The
Right.
wall has been breached, and he's got no Reavers. If he's got another Reaver popping out, he did build his Robo Bay in a good position, but it's just popped out a second too late. He managed to get a good shot off by that Reaver. I'm surprised that Reaver had time to get a Scarab finished before he got the shot off, and he's held his defense for now. But Kwanro is all over him right now, and it looks like a grudge victory for Kwanro. But again, for me, the very choice of build by Stork shows to me that he didn't really care that much, and then finally the third Reaver gets picked off again, and I don't think he's going to have time to rebuild before Kwanro really busts the door down full time. And Zealots with still no speed upgrade. Obviously he didn't even put on a Citadel, so obviously he's not going to have that, since this was a very committed build where if it didn't work he wasn't going to be able to come back. But I don't see why. I mean, he had his he could have just gone for standard Corsair Reaver, and I think Stork is a good enough player to have been able to win with standard Corsair Reaver against Kwanro when he had the early advantage. Kwanro went 9 pool, and Stork, despite that, was able to get was in a comfortable position and unharassed, and I don't see why he needed to commit himself there, short of maybe just trying to show off or not caring.
A little bit. Yeah, I feel like it was a little bit of showing off in some ways. I think you didn't even need to go Corsair Reaver. A standard, Corsair Templar build, you didn't need to do anything special. This map is designed so that if he's with these starting locations, Stork had a very easy access to the 3 o'clock location, and just speed lot, High Templar, Corsair, the standard Protoss versus Zerg thing is probably good enough. I'd say definitely good enough in Stork's capable hands to win him the game. So I agree with you. Maybe it is a little bit of showing off. And here we're seeing Kwanro with more reinforcements. Stork's front door is still being held right now, but I just don't think he has enough to weather all these successive waves, especially because every time a Reaver comes out, it gets sniped. And here we go. Here is the final blow for Stork, I feel. There's no Reaver there, and that's going to make the difference, of course. There's no mass damage units out there anymore, and Dragoons are just so cost ineffective against Hydralisks. It's just really not going to work out. And there's Stork GGing. So that's the end for Stork, and like I said, maybe it was trying to just show off a little bit and really just slam another nail in the coffin for Kwanro, but Kwanro manages to even up the series 2-2, even though he's not going to get that much satisfaction. Maybe he's going to get some satisfaction. Who knows how it's going to work in his head, but he did lose the MSL series still, no matter what happens in this game.
Yeah, and Kwanro doing did you see that girlfriend? Did you see that girlfriend thing with his hands at the end?
Yeah.
For some reason. But, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan, I have to be honest, of the Pro League, because would you really have seen Stork, or for that matter Savior, play in the way they did just now in the Star Leagues? I don't think you would have. That's one of the reasons why I'm not such. Although the new format of the Pro League does encourage us to see, does allow us to see more of the big name players, I still feel that players don't really show the same commitment as they used to, and it's understandable, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be looking forward to the next game, which is Firebat Hero versus the winner of this game, which is Stork. And that is, I'm not sorry, which is, just as I said, Kwanro, sorry. And Kwanro, certainly a good Zerg player, but Firebat Hero has just been roasting Zergs left and right. And this should be an exciting match, so we'll see you there.